They say, James, you make it look so easy. I say, that's because it's simple. It's not easy.
This is your first day in real estate, and I am your real estate sales trainer and coach, James Festini. And this is the program that's going to teach you how to sell more real estate in less time.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I'm James Festini, Southern California real estate agent and real estate sales trainer and coach. But because since 1993, I've been a full-time real estate agent selling over 1,300 houses, I walk the walk and I talk the talk. There are a few of us out there, and I'm willing to share. All I ask of you in return is that you share also. Hit the share button, hit the subscribe button, share this with someone who you know won't use this information, because what I do is really, really simple, but it's not easy. I also do offer one-on-one coaching. If you're serious, only serious people. I ain't got time. My business is booming right now. It's going off right now. So I have to give you these updates on my car, in my car on the way home. So I want to let you know about something I hear when I'm doing a live stream, or when I'm closing, or I share with you presentation live, when I'm doing my telephone prospecting, I'm having these conversations, and you hear me using my scripts and dialogues, which to me are just conversations. Scripts and dialogues are just memorized conversations. And when you do what I do for nearly 30 years, it becomes second nature. So yes, it does look natural, and of course I make it look easy, but that's because it's simple. My script is simple. It is just basics, ones and zeros, black and white. Either you are or you are not interested. If you are interested, when will you sell? But I have to find out first, how interested are you, by asking a question that will lure you into a conversation that interests you as an individual, the other side of the conversation. So when we're calling an individual or knocking on a door and we say, hi, my name is Agent with Company. I was just calling to see if you had any interest in selling your house. That's simple. That's very simple. And it's easy. For me, it's easy. I don't have any call reluctance. I don't have any reservations about picking up the phone and telemarketing. But I understand that for most people, they would rather eat cat food, right? After the cat threw it up, some people even, than pick up the phone and call a complete stranger and ask a question. A question so bold, so daring, so brash, so inconsiderate, so rude, so bombastic, to say, are you thinking of selling your? How dare you ask that question? But see, this is perception. Your perception, as you see me do this live, your perception is that he makes it look so easy. That's because it's simple. And it's easy, but it's not easy for some. I want you to understand what I do is very simple. I ask simple questions that will prompt, receive a response that is a natural response to a question that will give me a yes or a no. And based on my skill set and a simple analysis, a very easy approach on listening to whether or not they are interested in the way they say no, because most people say no. They never say yes, hardly ever say yes. So if I know they say no, then I can analyze it, right? If you know where the destination is, you can figure out how to get there. I know my destination is they're going to say no, so I know how to get to the yes. It's right behind the no. But I have to listen to the subtle variation of no that means maybe, by asking another very simple question. Now, it's not easy to pick up the phone and telemarket. It's not easy to pick up the phone. But why? Why is it not easy for you to pick up the phone and call people? Is it that you're afraid of rejection? How is it that you're afraid of rejection from a complete stranger? Let me ask you this. Let's pretend I had some crack cocaine, and you were meeting me for the first time. You're like, James, I love all your content, man. Dude, I love it, man. I love all your YouTube videos, man. Can I get a selfie? I'm like, yeah, but first, I have a little bit of crack. Yeah, a little bit of crack cocaine. You want to smoke it? Chances are you're going to say no. Is that rejection? Do I think to, I don't smoke crack, by the way. Maybe it's a terrible analogy here. Terrible thing to say. But if I offered you crack, and you said no, should I feel rejected? Right? If you offer someone water and they don't take the water, do you feel like they've turned you down? If you offer somebody a cookie, you come into the office with a box of donuts and you offer someone a donut and they say no thank you, do you feel rejected? Or do you go for one more time and go, come on, just have one, man. I got them. They're good. You're like chocolate. And you're like, no, seriously, I'm on a diet. Okay, no problem. No rejection. You don't be like, that son of a bee. He'll never lose that weight anyhow. I can't believe they reject. What am I going to do with these donuts? I'm going to have to eat them all now. You just don't do that. When you're offering something somebody doesn't want and they tell you they don't want it, that's not rejection. That is that they don't want it. It's a very different mindset to think that they're rejecting you as an individual. How dare you? And sometimes I get calls. I'll make calls, and it's this weird thing that it doesn't happen too often. But I know what people are trying to do. They really want to hurt you, right? So they'll say, "Well, now even if I wouldn't list with you because you called me out of the blue." And so what am I supposed to do? Because that's, I think, what agents think to themselves. Like when they say no, now they're permanently rejected and that it's over, right? I find cynicism and like this like twisted humor because for me is I'm so completely detached from it being rejection, right? Like I go home right. I'm gonna go home right now, and I'm gonna see my wife, and she's probably watching the really Desperate Housewives of any town USA. And I'm gonna go in there, and she's gonna be in the couch, and I'm gonna walk up, and her back's gonna be to me, right? One kid's probably gonna be in his room playing video games. The other one's probably gonna be in her room watching, Harry Potter or some stuff. And the other one's gonna be downstairs on the couch, maybe watching YouTube videos on Roblox. And I come home and I say, "Daddy's home." And nobody comes and hugs me. There's no slippers. There's no dog. There's no cigar or glass of brandy. Do I feel rejected? I feel a little bit. Okay, just a little bit. But it's people I love, right? And then my little girl January will jump up and say, "Hi, Daddy," and give me a hug. And then I'm satisfied, right? It feeds this ego. Oh, there we go. Now we're getting to the bottom of why we feel rejected because it's ego. Oh, don't even get me started on the ego and like breaking down the ego and dissolving the ego and rising above the ego. Ego is what we use to protect ourselves from pain, right? We look at a picture that we take of ourselves, it doesn't look good, we delete it. Take another picture, doesn't look good. We try all these angles and finally we get one and we hurt our own ego. Like we, without anybody looking, will photograph ourselves a dozen times and say, "I like that one." Like as if though the other ones were not you and now you have. So we reject ourselves based on our impression and our expectation of what we're supposed to look like in our mind's eye. And if you go into real estate and you have this perception based on your original, I talk about like my Tom and Jerry theory, my Tom and Jerry story, where if you haven't heard it before, there's Tom and Jerry, the old cartoon. There's a video called, I think it's called Who's Your Mama? Are You My Mama? And there's a duck egg at the top of a hill, and the duck egg rolls down the hill and rolls out of the duck mom's butt and rolls into under Tom Cat, and it hatches. And when the duck comes out, looks at Tom Cat and says, "Mama," and Tom Cat is a cat. So the whole cartoon is about him trying to eat this duck and prepare the duck, while Jerry the mouse tries to save the duck. I'm Jerry, and every other guru is Tom. No direct correlation to Tom, that I think is trying to eat you. But what I'm getting at is that you get these impressions, you form these impressions and expectations based on your original birth mama. Who's my mama? When you get your license, you come out fresh out of the egg and someone's going to throw you in one direction or another. And maybe it happens before, maybe you roll out of that nest prematurely, months before, and you become to get your license. Maybe you see an episode of Million Dollar Listing and you think that's how it happens. Maybe you see Fix or Flop or whatever that show is, right? And you think that's how it works. When those series, those shows are heavily edited to make you think There's these time sequences that don't really exist. And even in the real world, of the people who get lucky and the shooting star and like the first year beginner's luck that fades so quickly, it still comes down to either you spend money to have people know who you are and they come to you, advertising, right? Or you pick up the phone or knock on the door and find the people who might be interested. Now, you see, I don't have the time, or nor do I care to spend the money on throwing a firework in the sky, hoping somebody sees it in the moment that it flashes in front of them, because the odds are slim to none and it's costly. I prefer to do target marketing with my voice and my face at the door and find the individuals who might be interested, but it is a tremendous amount of effort. It is not easy, but my questions are simple. And if you just stick to my script, hi, my name is Agent with Company. I was calling to see if you had interest in selling your house. No, you think maybe later down the road you'd reconsider? Well, no, not really. Okay. Do you have any idea what it's worth? I'm following this path to an outcome, provided that they pass my tests. So if I'm cold calling, lead generating, strictly not follow-up, but lead generation, because that's what we're talking about. I make it look easy. Lead generation looks easy, but that's because it's simple. It's not easy. It is not easy to sit on your butt on the phones for 9 hours straight. And I've done it live on YouTube all the time. I think I had like three 9-hour sessions, last week alone. I do it all the time. But then all of a sudden I get super busy and I have time to do it. So I strongly recommend that when you do hit subscribe, that you hit that little bell icon at the bottom of the YouTube screen. If you're watching me on YouTube, hit that little bell and make sure you have notifications turned on your phone, because that way, when I do go live, you'll get an alert and you're like, oh, you just posted a video. Oh, he's live. And then you can watch and you'll sit there witnessing repetitious boredom at its finest. The progression of repeating over and over. Some people will say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. True. I do the same thing over and over, expecting a result, not a different result. I do the same thing over and over, expecting a variation in the test, which is a very, very confirmed over and over verification that what I do works. I said when I moved into this town almost 5 years ago this March, that anything I do, well, first of all, I said, if I'm still in the business, like in 2 years from now, my stuff works. But here I am almost 5 years. Not only does it work, but it's validated, because I left a region and moved to a new region. And I said, anything I get into this new region is 100% absolutely from my efforts here, doing exactly what I'm teaching. It's almost like I hit the reset button. I said, watch me do it again. Watch me. Like those people who gain all this weight, to say, watch how easy it is to lose it. Wish I could do that, right? I have the discipline to build myself from the ground up, because discipline is very, very hard. What I do requires a tremendous amount of discipline. And when you have no choice but to work to feed your family, discipline isn't that hard. Because you can see, I'm not a very disciplined person whatsoever. Hell, if I was disciplined, I wouldn't be this big. If I was disciplined, I wouldn't spend money frivolously on toys. If I was disciplined, I'd get up earlier in the morning. If I was disciplined, I'd have 4 books in the pipeline. I'm not disciplined. I have my back up against the wall since 1993, and every child that I have gets me deeper in the hole. Makes me more invigorated and more motivated to make sure that I don't let them down and that I have the resources to enjoy my life at the same time. We don't know when we're going to leave this earth. Predicting the future is impossible. But I know today I put in the best I could, and tomorrow I put in the best I could. Whether it's hard or easy is not an option for me. If you have an option
to sell real estate, meaning that if you have anything you can do besides selling residential real estate that will pay you and you'll enjoy it, because life quality is very important. If you like it, get out of the business. Come on, just cash in your, just get rid of your license. I don't know what you're doing with it. There are people like me who really, really, really need it. And we don't need the competition of you taking your aunt's listing in an area that you know nothing about for a discount just because you can, right? Please just leave the business. It's not worth it. You're going to screw it up. You're going to screw up the reputation. You know, most of the big agents don't screw it up for us. It's the little ones who give us the bad reputation because they make dumb moves and they do things that aren't right. Because it looks simple. It looks easy. When you come into this business, it looks easy. And for some of you, it actually is. Some of you pull it off. I've never had it easy. I've had to go in and do the call since 1992. I've had to pick up the phone. I didn't have a choice. If you have a choice, take the option. Take the option to get out of this business because it's not that fun. It's really not that fun. If you like looking at houses, just walk into open houses. Don't bother keeping your license. It's too expensive. Keeping your dues and all that for what? Just to say you have a license, just to sell one house a year? Forget it. But for those of you who are thinking to yourself right now, I'm seeing the top agents and even the second and third agent kicking butt, like me right now. I'm kicking butt right now. If you're seeing me or anyone like me kicking butt because we work hard, and you think to yourself, I can do that, then you need to find me because what I do works. And it is super simple. I can convince you with a couple of conversations and a one-on-one calls how easy it is to not be worried about picking up the phone, how to dissolve or remove yourself from the ego, understand what it takes to ask, right? What do they say? The squeaky wheel gets the grease. If you want something, you've got to go and get it. Nothing in life, or they say, the best things in life are free. I don't think so. Those are people who probably don't work hard at getting the good life, right? The best things in life are free, but the good life is also worth it if you work it. And earning, right? Earning something, this going out there and like planting a tree and watching it grow and making the effort. Sure, it was free for the seed and it was free to water and it was free to sit back and watch with the rain and the soil. But knowing that you did something about that, you altered your future by having the discipline and overcoming this reluctancy or fear or this impression that it's not possible. It's simple. It's not easy. It's not easy. But if we could just get past that, if we say, okay, fine, it's not easy. It's not easy losing weight. It's not easy learning how to play the guitar. It's not easy learning how to play the piano. And you look at people and you say, oh man, they make it look so easy. Look at the marathon runners, right? I've run 8 marathons. I'm planning to do at least one Ironman before I turn 50. If you look at like a marathon, there's 20,000 runners or 15, 20,000 runners. You look at those top 10 come in, they're barely breaking a sweat. As soon as they cross the finish line, giving it their all, they just walk off like nothing. We're not talking about the elite. Okay, they're on another level. And that's why I'm like you. I'm not the elite. I have to work really, really hard just to keep my pace. I'm challenging myself along the marathon. I'm not trying to be number one runner in the world. It's just not in my genetics. I want to beat myself. So I'm good with my sub 5 hour marathon. I'm not looking to get under 2 or even under 3, maybe not even under 4 anytime in this lifetime. Yeah, maybe I could do under 4 if I got this off my back and my belly. What I'm getting at is we all look at these the musicians, for example, right? How many times have we all, maybe not, maybe not, it's not just me, I know. You've watched someone play the guitar and you buy a guitar and you go, I want to learn it, and you don't play it. I've owned a guitar for 40 years. I'm 48. 38 years. I've definitely owned a guitar for at least 40 years. Can I play it? Maybe 1 or 2 songs. I own a harmonica. I own a didgeridoo. I own all of these things because someone lured me to think it's so simple. Jack Johnson, right? Who can't listen to Jack Johnson, right? And want to play the guitar? Who doesn't listen to, a great singer or a great piano player and think, I want to do that? You buy a piano and you never touch it. When you say, I want to be a great real estate agent, but you're not willing to sit down at the keyboard and practice and practice and practice and get good. We all think, man, suddenly they came up. These coaches, right? If you've heard that before, where people say, these great coaches, these great winning coaches. But what you don't see is like the people like Tom Brady, people don't understand the time that his mom and his dad took to take him to Pee Wee and, the minor Pop Warner. And like he'd been playing this position for nearly 20 years at this. And now the coach is getting the credit. The coach was handed the talent and he collected it. And he had his own talent as being a coach and a great inspiration. But had Tom Brady's mommy and daddy not built him to be who he is, that wouldn't have happened. That was where they make it look easy. I watch Drew Brees and I see him throw. We're watching all Monday morning quarterbacks, right? And we're like, easy shot. I get people all the time who come into my room while I'm prospecting live and they go, you should do this with your words. You should try this script. Your script is too short. No one's ever going to say yes. Are you kidding? Like I get that once in a while. And then when people understand and I explain to them what I'm doing, they're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But you're coming from a position of not knowing and your impression, your expectation of what it should be without putting in the time. It's like standing behind, who's a great piano player right now? I don't know any great piano players. But Andrea Bocelli, the singer, and telling him he's a little pitchy, right? Coming up behind, one of the great singers of our time and walking up and saying, it doesn't sound right. Demi Lovato, I think she's an awesome singer, like an amazing voice, and walking up to her and be like, sounds a little pitchy. They're like, you have no idea what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. Why don't you put in the time and then sit at the piano and tell me that you can play? It's very simple. It's not easy. It's not easy sitting down and putting in the time. But I know for sure that even if you never took one lesson, like me, I've never been coached by anyone. I've listened to Tony Robbins, Tom Hopkins, Zig Ziglar, right? All of the greats, Nightingale, Jim Rohn, every one of the legends. I've listened to them, but no amount of listening is going to get me to sit down and actually practice, right? You can't manifest a six-pack without the sit-ups. They can teach you all the theory about sit-ups. You can teach all the theory about music, and you can have your PhD in music, but if you can't play an instrument, how can you talk? I want you guys to understand that the basis, the fundamentals, the foundation of real estate, the way I do it, it is very simple. It's just not going to be easy. But it's not hard. Like I'm not having you pick up massive amounts of weights and carry it up mountains. I'm not asking you to run long distances or, swim or climb or jump or any of that. It's just sitting down and having the tenacity and the knowledge and expectation that this is going to take long. When reality sets in that you are actually going to have to sit for a while and watch paint dry, it's going to work out. I can help you get there faster. Obviously, there are shortcuts, but it doesn't mean the distance gets any shorter. It just means it's not uphill as much, right? It'll still be the same distance. I just won't make you climb up hills to do it. But you're still going to have to go the distance. Join me. Please, if you use Mojo, join my league. If you want to do one-on-one, find me out. I'm the real deal. I like to help, but only if you're serious. If you're not serious, don't even bother. I don't want you to expect something if you're not going to give, right? It just doesn't work that way. I can't help you if you can't work really, really hard at very simple processes. Thank you very much. Have a great day and get back to work.
People ask me all the time, where do I get my data? How do I have so many good numbers without spending an arm and a leg? Because I recommend you get it from 3 places, and I merge them to create the ultimate white pages. 2 of them are Cole Realty Resources and TelephoneList.biz. They will provide you names, addresses, phone numbers, along with email addresses scrubbed against the Do Not Call list, available for both US and Canada. Now, have you seen my amazing local market videos for my real estate business? In one word, Terradatum. They make videos branded to your brokerage and automatically update them every month with videos by zip code, county, city, and your hyper-local market, and it's extremely affordable. Have you guys seen my website lately? Well, you should. It's absolutely gorgeous. I owe it all to Zentap. They will help you with your advertising using your MLS, IDX, and social media to attract an audience and engage your leads using sophisticated bots. Now, you're gonna need a powerful CRM to manage all of this, and as you know, Mojo Selling Solutions is more than just a dialer. It's the most powerful CRM bar none. Mojo provides you expireds for sell by owners, and that is the third list of data, along with email and mail campaigns. For more information on any of these products, along with my personal coaching and training products, go to jamesfestini.com today. Or just show financial support at any amount on patreon.com/James Festini. Now, get back to work.